Fishing today for bluegill and pumpkinseed sunfish. Just got one rod out so far with a 3-way slip sinker rig and a half piece of worm. Just want to catch a bunch today, that's my goal. If they're full spawning still, they might not be. But if they are, I'm just going to try and catch some numbers. Decent bluegill. Start off with solid tall backed 8 1/4. One right on the edge here. Just going to try and bed fish them. I'm going to try and get into some numbers today. We'll see what happens. It was real hot the other day, a couple videos ago in that panfish Grand Slam video. Amazing bluegill action. Hoping it's the same today. Just going to work a little piece of nightcrawler on a free line on the edges here. And get the beds on the edges while I work the deeper, you know, the shallow stretch that's farther out. The swampy stretch in the middle with the 3-way slip sinker rig. Yeah, small gill, 5-6 incher. You can set the hook on them right away and hook them in the lip every time when you do use half a worm and get a good bite on it, or a third of a worm, whatever covers the hook. Another decent one, about 8 inches. I put a slip float rig on this pole early because I can always just put a hook on the third pole I brought and edge fish with that if I want. Edge fishing doesn't seem as hot as last time though. And I gotta get rid of that in a minute. They'll always go for that if I leave that there, that branch. Here's a real solid gill. It's on a bit of worm under slip float. It's probably 8 3/4 or 9. With a real tall back, pretty thick on the shoulder. Being a little pickier today than last time I came down, but last time they were so aggressive. Most aggressive I've ever seen them. They're eating dead crawlers, live crawlers, the tiniest shreds. Just, it was amazing. So, I still think I'm going to do okay. Even though they aren't slabbing it. That one's at least 8 1/2. It's a nice one. Quality, average gill. Another one on the float rig. Just being a little bit pickier today. They want their night crawlers juicier than last time, so I gotta keep refreshing them. Still just pieces of night crawlers though, so it's a decent aggressive bite. It's another nice gill. Should get a number of them over 9 inches today. They're just like 8 1/2 so far with a tall back, but should get some beauties, maybe even some 10s. We'll see. It's not quite as hot as last time, but last time's the hottest I've ever seen it, ever. So this is still pretty good. I used to do this a lot back in the day, like maybe 5 years ago, before I made videos. I'd come down, bed fish for these guys, get like 150 of them, and a lot of them would be, you know, 9 1/2. 9 1/4, and some of them would even be 10 inches. And I'd do it all the time, and I'd always get a huge number of them. That one's probably a solid 9, barely. Just using Aberdeen hooks on both of these rigs. I got a size 6 on the float rig, and a size 4 on the slip sinker rig. I usually just use size 4s, because I normally just do this with all slip sinker rigs. Because there seems to be like a better class of fish out just a little bit deeper on the transition usually. This is a real pretty pumpkinseed. Awesome. Not a big one, but average size one with great colors. You know, 7 1/2, 8 inches or whatever, but tall in the back. Real round one. You know, as far as I understand, bluegill and pumpkinseed around here will make 2 shallow runs each year. You know, where they push into a shallow section of the lake or the edges. One will be in bedding season in the spring and sometimes in the summer. They'll come in waves, so you'll get some in the spring, some in the summer. And the other one will be in early fall. So I chase them around whenever they push in shallow during those 2 runs. That one's probably 7 1/2, a little smaller. Bluegill. One on the 3-way slip sinker rig. Really winging it out there on the transition between deep and shallow. you know, like I said, there'll be different schools of bluegills and pumpkin seeds pushing in at different times, like slightly different times, a week apart or whatever for the spawn. So you'll get some on the transition and some already spawning. And I'm fishing the transition with this slip sinker rig right now. That's another one about 7. Last one was like 7 3/4. Another one on the float rig. So with a little piece of nightcrawler. Fresh one though. Nice, decent bluegill. That's probably a 8 1/2, 8 3/4. Still waiting for a big one. I'd love to see a 10 plus today. As I cycle through some numbers here. That'd be real awesome. Another one that's like 8 or so. Right around 8. Maybe 7 3/4. Those 10s I used to get, you could always tell when it was like one that was getting pretty close to 10 because they serpentine back and forth. It almost feels like flying a kite. They pull so hard using their surface area. This one feels like a decent one. Now, not huge, but super fat. Whoa! It's definitely a solid 9, but he's so round and fat. That's why he felt so heavy. I got one right on the edge here. Yeah, another little bluegill. It's like a 7-incher. Smaller one. Got another one. It's not super hot. I'm going to start moving soon. But it's not bad either. Another 7-inch gill. Oh, there we go. That worked. The line drifted into that branch there. Might get a couple hybrids too. You know, from bluegills and pumpkin seeds spawning together. And a double header. One on the float rig, one on the bottom rig. Get this guy in fast. Another bluegill. It's a nice one. Cool. Not getting any crazy action, but some solid fish. You know, nothing huge either, but it's a bunch of quality, tall in the back, 8 to 9 inches. Feels a little smaller now. Shoot. What was that all about? He might have dug down in some of this algae stuff or something. I don't know. Still decent though. Yeah, he's pretty good size. Might be the best one in the morning so far. Probably not huge, but 9 1/4 maybe. The belly. Found a little pot of them out in the middle. Might stay here for a little longer. I think I'm gonna search for greener pastures in a minute though. Just want to get some of these straggler ones out before I move. Yeah, okay size gill. It's over 8 by a little bit. I'm gonna try and see if I can catch a couple edge ones first before I start moving. Yeah, real tiny one, 5-incher. Another one out good 30 feet on the float. Feels a little better than the last one at least. Another 7 8-incher. Yeah, he's a solid 8 1/4. Cool. Decent one. Another little edge guy. Barely. Can't lip him. Barely hold him. Got one running with a quarter worm. That feels like a decent one. Sweet. I usually get a better class of bluegill and pumpkin seeds. Like, how do I describe this? Usually the better ones aren't edge fish. There can be good ones on the edge, but I get a better average out a ways, but still shallow. It's like that's their spot. Shoot, he went right into the float there. That sucks. Hopefully that doesn't tangle too bad. Oh yeah, that's a real solid gill. Wow. Super fat. 9 1/4 at least. Real nice gill. Catch some of these edge fish quick. There were some nice ones mixed in with the small ones last time on the edge. Wasn't too long ago though when I cleaned them out, so I think I'm gonna move. The spots, there's new ones pushing in, but not a ton. Not quite as many as last time. Another little edge fish. A bunch of little guys left over on the edge. They're 5, 5 1/2. Couple pumpkin seeds right on the edge there. Maybe they're bluegill. I can't tell. I don't have my polarized sunglasses on. See, here's a decent one right on the edge. Like 6 inches of water. Solid 8 incher. That fish a few fish ago on the bottom rig was 9 1/4, so I'm pretty sure my guesses are dead on today, thankfully. Got a decent one, about 10 feet out. Yeah, last one might have been more like 8 1/2. This one's an 8. Yeah, last one was a little bigger. Almost done with these edge fish. They're starting to get spooked. That one's a little smaller. 7, 7 1/2. Something on the float while I was catching the edge fish. Looks like a little guy. Yeah, that one's probably a 7. Our little one off the edge. Oop. There he goes. He's like a 6. Pretty decent number. Like, just about 10 feet out, right where I can't see. There you go, that one's lippable. Nice tall on the back. Short pumpkin seed. 7 incher, 7 1/2. Moving around now. Trying to find some more bedding fish. Got one on the slip sinker rig. Nice pumpkin seed. Right off the bat. Hoping they're stacked up here. It's a decent one. 7 1/2 with a tall back. Maybe 8. Hard to keep up with 2 rods so far. It's a good sign. I want to find a bigger pot of bedding fish. That other side I hit the other day though, so I kind of expected there to be less, but I still wanted to hit it first. There's a nice one. Nice pumpkin seed, I think. Or a hybrid, one or the other. It's better than the last one. Real tall on the back, solid 8, 8 1/4. Maybe 8 1/2 even. Oh, stay out of that junk. Shoot. Don't want to go into the beaver hut. A lot of times they'll glide right into those snags to try and save themselves. This one hit on the slip float rig. All pumpkin seeds so far over here. Pumpkin seeds are... No, I lied. It's a bluegill. I saw it. It looked orange underwater. Sweet. Decent bluegill, 8 incher. Definitely having a hard time keeping up so far. That's 4 fish in, I don't know, like 2 minutes. That's another pumpkin seed. Decent one. I like pumpkin seeds, especially, I mean, not just the colors, but when they're like, you know, like a good solid one, like a 9 incher. Bluegills can be thin instead of being tall in the back, but the pumpkin seeds are always tall in the back and have a lot of shoulder when they're 9 inches. Every time I go to check the other rod, there's a fish on it. Can't keep up with 2 of them. This is how it used to be, but all day I'd do this. I swear it would be triple digits. It would be so many. Yeah. Another okay sized gill, I guess. 7 1/2, 8 incher. I don't want to say anything too soon, but I guess I'm gonna anyway. They seem like they're stacked here pretty good. This might be a good afternoon. Mostly pumpkin seeds over here. It's pretty neat. Maybe they're spawning just a little bit shallower. Might be the case. Another decent one. About 8 inches. It's a beautiful pumpkin seed. Look at the face on it. So pretty. Man, I had a good one on the bottom rig, and he glided all the way to the right and found a stick out there and got jammed in it. I lost him. Yeah, a little bit of a smaller gill. Maybe 7, 7.5. Man, seriously, can't keep up with this float rig. They are all over it. You know, 3-5 seconds after I cast it in, getting a fish every time. Mostly pumpkin seeds. Huh. It's a smaller guy. Probably barely 7. Please be a gill. Please be an 11, 12 inch gill. Oh man. Double digits are so rare around here. Get hundreds, if not thousands of, probably thousands in the 9-inch class, but so few that are bigger than that. Yeah, this has got to be a bass. This is a gill, man. It's like 14 inches. Yeah, it looks like a largemouth. Cool. Really wished you were a gill. That would have made my month. 15, maybe 16-inch largemouth. Right around there. Another one on the float. Doing a pretty good job conserving these worms. I brought, I think, 98, and I haven't even gone through 25 yet. So I'm looking good on bait. If this keeps up. Hope it does. A decent 8-inch gill. Feels pretty small. Feels like a 6-incher. Yeah, small gill. I don't know if he's lippable. It's probably barely 7. He's got a little bite above his dorsal fin there. Maybe from a snapping turtle. All I can think of is this video is going to be a real pain to edit if I get some numbers here. This is pretty hot right now. Pretty steadily hot. There's a good gill. Awesome. That's what I'm hoping for. Nice solid bedding gills. Bigger than this, hopefully. This is still a nice one, you know, 8 1/4, whatever. Thick. This is seriously kind of a workout, keeping up with both rods. No breaks at all. Just one, then the other, then one, and then the other. Another decent fat gill. You know, 7.5, 8 inches. You know, with a belly. This is looking promising. Smaller fish than I used to get when I did this years ago, but I used to hit this really, really hard. I do this all the time. I just catch and release all of them. But, you know, same numbers as I used to get, or at least the same sort of action as it is right now. The other side was a little slow when I was there earlier. I remember back in the day when the average used to be 9 1/4. And it would be like a hard average. It would be mostly 9 1/4s. Some 9, some 9.5s, but not very many under that and not very many over that. Once in a while a 10 and once in a while an 8. Man, I just can't keep up with all these pumpkin seeds over here. This guy's gliding hard. It's not gonna save you, man. There's no junk over here. Oh, this one's a nice gill. Cool. Solid one. That's more like it. It's a solid 8 3/4. I had a decent fall for sunfish last year, but I remember last year's bedding season was just terrible. It was the only bad bedding season I ever had. Looks like a pumpkin seed. Yep. A little bit bigger. Definitely thicker. One full of eggs. Maybe 8 inches. This is a real tiny one. Surprised there aren't more brutes out in the middle. Oh, he's not that small actually. Wow. He felt way smaller in this. Felt like a 5 or a 6. It's a solid 8. Got another one on the float. Nice little pumpkin seed. And great colors on these guys. It's all wound up on a stick there. Another gill. And I swear the beavers really suck. They leave branches out in the middle of the water sometimes, probably not most of the time, but once in a while they do, and they add up and it makes you snag your rigs. And sometimes I can get the branches in, like I have a few, but sometimes you can't because they get buried in the mud. There we go. Another one on the float rig. Yeah, okay size gill. Maybe 8 1/4. Right around there. I think I'm starting to thin them out of this stretch. Might move around a little bit. Just keep moving back and forth. Shoot. There we go. Another okay sized gill. 7 1/2, 7 3/4. On the small side, but okay size, I guess. And that guy rocketed the float under. Just slammed it. Looks like a gill. See an orange breast on him. Oh, I think I'm wrong. Man, terrible guesses. It's a pumpkin seed. Nice tall on the back one. Not bad. 8 incher at least. Moving around now. Trying to find another pot of fish. This guy seems small. Seems really small. Oh, it's a rainbow trout. Wow, that's why he's fighting weird. It's a stocky rainbow. That's so cool. How about that? There we go, it's a double header. Pretty much both rods went off at once. This point has I guess it's a point, not really, but this spot has a deeper transition, so I might get into a different class of fish. Maybe bigger gills, but I might be dreaming. That's a nice gill. Nothing wrong with that. They stage differently. They school up by size a little bit, but I mean, different spawning pots will be in different areas, different depths, and they'll go one week after the other. Another fish right away. Sweet. Thinned them out pretty good out of that last spot. Just trying to hunt new spots. Get a few more out of each. Oh yeah, another solid gill. That's what I'm talking about. No, it's not a gill. It's a big pumpkin seed or a hybrid. That's what I'm talking about though. Like these different pods of staging fish are sometimes a little different on average. I've noticed over the years. Like these are deeper fish right now. They're going to spawn later. It's not crazy hot off this spot, but it's pretty steady. Decent bite. Fish every few minutes. It's not bad. That's a beautiful pumpkin seed right there. Real pretty. Found a school of pre-spawned fish. I think these are bigger ones. This is awesome. Look at this double header right here. I switched to 2 3-way slip sinker eggs so I can really wing it out there. That's a real nice looking mix of both, I think. I think that's a pumpkin seed and a bluegill. Has the face of a pumpkin seed and the breast of a bluegill. This is hot. Now I got these 2 rigs out. I threw on whole worms just to see how fast they'd hit it. Bigger profile. Like the smaller worms in my tin, but I'll probably start using halves again soon. doing really good on worms though, so I can definitely afford to use some whole ones once in a while. That's a nice gill, real nice gill. Heck yeah, that's a thick one. That one's over 9. Real beauty. Man, I love this. I love when they're schooled up. Just a nice, steady bite. Fish every 2 minutes. There's another beautiful gill. Solid one. You know, 8.5 or so. Nothing wrong with that. It's really bending the rod. Must have a stick on him. Caught in the line. Oh, it's a bass, that's why. That explains a lot. Yeah, another smaller largemouth. You know, 14-incher maybe. Maybe. Good deal. Good deal. It's another decent gill. And they're all nicer. This is more like what I used to get into. You know, all 9-inchers. These ones aren't quite as big. They're probably 8.5, 8 3/4, but pretty close. The average used to be 9 1/4. And I just had a good one fall off. Felt like a 9 or better. Must have just barely skin lipped him. Happens. That's a decent one. And better quality gills, I called it. We're mostly small pumpkin seeds over there in the shallows. Some decent gills, but you know, just different spawning groups. These ones are pre-spawning, they're going to spawn a little later. And this is how I used to do it, just two poles with 3-way slip sinker rigs. I'd use 3, because that's allowed, but usually you can't keep up with it. That's what you hope for, is for it to be so good you can't keep up with 3. So usually just bring 2. Hope for a hot bite. Keep the 3rd in the truck just in case. Just wish this wind wasn't blowing into me. It's perfectly wrong direction. Putting loops in the line and not making it too much harder to cast, because that's why I'm using these 3-way slip sink rigs, but making it so I can't use the slip float rig very effectively. Can't get it out far enough in this wind. A little bit smaller gill. There we go. He was caught up in a nasty snag. Had to pull him the other way for a while. Finally pulled him out. Oh yeah, he's a solid, thick on the back pumpkin seed. Not a bad fish. Not very long, but you know, thick and heavy for his length. Not the hottest bite I've seen, but a nice steady bite in each spot until I thin them out. They're hitting pretty well. Oh, that's a real nice pumpkin seed. Thick, fat, tall in the back. That's a beauty. Probably 8 3/4. Not bad at all. Well, the wind calmed down for a moment. It's a good thing. Makes it just a little bit easier for me. That's another hefty pumpkin seed, man. Wow. Thick, fat, tall in the back. Solid, pushing 9 inches, 8 3/4 maybe. Still pretty steady here. Decent number. Another gill. Probably 8-incher. It's going for that stump again. They love to just glide towards the snags, hang up in them. That's an okay sized gill. Probably around 8, 8 1/4. I've been using 6-pound test on all the poles all day, which is definitely overkill for sunfish. I'd rather use 2 or 4-pound test because you can cast that out farther. It's a lighter line. But the one advantage of 6-pound test is when I do get in these snags, I can, you know, at least half the time I can either take the snag in with me if it's a branch or wrestle it out. I probably wouldn't have been able to do that with 2 or 4. Definitely not with 2. Probably not with 4. With a lot of these snags I got today. been using the version of my 3-way slip sinker rigs that have fluoro leaders. I pretty much always do that wherever I'm fishing with bait, even if it's for something like bullhead that isn't line shy, because it affords me the opportunity to catch some non-target species that are line shy while I'm fishing for whatever isn't. They aren't all that big, but there's a real stack of them right here. Getting some decent numbers. It's not across the line shoot. Just getting a little smaller though. I was getting 9s at first here, and then I was getting 8s. Man, I'll tell you, if you aren't being stingy on worms, nothing beats a fresh, like, wriggling one that's just going crazy with its tail. That's what'll get you a 1-second bite. Whoa. Whoa there. No depth perception. There we go. Yeah, 7-incher. Getting smaller. Oh yeah, he's decent. He's got a little shoulder on him. There we go, there's another nice gill. Solid 9+. Barely 9, I'd say, actually. 8 3/4 or 9. Still, not bad. Must have like some stick or algae on. Yep, he has a stick on him. I'd love it to be just a sunfish though. Probably be like a 13-incher. If that was all him, at least. Another smaller guy, 8-incher barely. I don't know, you may have a different experience in this, but I swear they're way more picky in the fall. Like that falls when timing seems to really matter. Like they'll hit around sunrise, sunset a lot better than in the middle of the day. You still get some at all times of the day, but there'll be other factors that make a difference. Yeah, there's definitely one on there. No, don't cross the line, thank you. Yeah, another gill. Cool. By the lip here. Maybe 7.5, maybe 8. Right around there. Man, there's a nice number in this spot. A lot of staging fish. Pretty sure I've already gotten 70 today, maybe more. There's a nice fat gill. Pregnant mama. Yeah, solid 9 probably. Still pretty good action. That was a double header pretty much. There's a lot stacked right here. This is what I was hoping to find. A nice school of them. Could really stack up some numbers. See how long it lasts for. Probably 8. Nice steady bite in this spot. Real good. A lot of nice staging gills and pumpkin seeds. There's another decent one. Another 8-incher. Man, I can only imagine if I had a really big lake where I could find just a giant bay where all the bluegills are spawning, like 2 feet all the way across, and I had a boat. I can't imagine the numbers I would get. It would be disgusting if I could just consistently bed fish for them all day. Like right now I'm just doing different things. I'm bed fishing and then fishing the pre-spawn ones and whatever, where the numbers aren't quite as great or as steady, but if I could bed fish for them all day, man, it might be like a 500 fish day or more. It'd be crazy. Sometimes I just get this vibe that there's a fish on there from bait fishing in ridiculous conditions at the spillway for so many years. Like conditions where you just can't tell if there's a fish. The rod's just moving in some strange, like non-rhythmic way. Not in a way that like a fish biting makes it look, but I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like a circular motion or something in the wind instead of a side to side. You just get these strange vibes. They're usually true. Makes a lot of sense to me that this spot in particular is as hot as it is. This is like the pre-spawn spot. That's the spawn spot where it gets real shallow, and they started spawning really early this year. I think I caught them like the first week, which is this week, that they were spawning. So I'm pretty sure that's the first wave, and that means wave number 2, 3, 4, and whatever is all right here, right in front of me. So the majority should be in front of me, and I think that's why it's hotter, right in this spot. I think most of them are staging still. I think if this ever manages to slow down in this spot, if I can thin them out, I might go home just for a couple minutes and grab some food, and then come back, keep fishing just for fun. I'm trying to keep mad at that line there. It's a nice gill. Yeah, probably 8 1/4. Right around there. He was just sitting there on it. Wasn't tugging really. Subtle sunfish. Oh, this way, bud. Nice pumpkin seed. Got some shoulder on him. And I love pumpkin seeds. One of my favorites. They're so pretty. Such good colors. I said that already, but still, I mean it. Oh, he's starting to. He's getting in the junk, that's why. I caught my other line. Shoot. There we go. Yeah, smaller gill. 7 1/2 maybe. Might be starting to slow down just a tiny bit. Maybe. There's a lot stacked up right here. Eventually I'm gonna thin them out, I gotta believe. At least for today. More will push in other days. There's a solid gill. Probably 8 1/2. I don't know. Still getting instant hits when it touches the water. I'm not so sure they're thinned out. Doesn't seem like it yet, actually. Started to for a moment, but there's another nice gill. That's a solid fatty. Not very long, you know, 8 1/2, 8 3/4, but thick with eggs. Yeah, there's no way I'm thinning them out yet. I'm still getting double headers. Crazy. So many packed right into this little section. I don't even have to move. Like I did earlier. The shallow section is kind of lame today. Got like maybe 40 fish out of it total from hitting both sides of it. It's not the best. It's okay, but it's not. I've seen it a lot better. Yeah, that one's a solid 8 3/4, I'd say. Just a hair bigger than the last one, maybe. A nice belly. Oh no, he's taking a little drag now. Just a tiny bit. He's average like the others, actually. Yeah, he's a decent one. Seemed a lot smaller. What the heck's going on over there? Bass is eating some minnows or something. Yeah, he seems smaller than that. It's 8 1/2, 8 3, probably 8 1/2, I'd say. Another sunfish. I could do this all day, and probably will. Only part of the day's over already. Probably got 80, 90 fish. Something like that. I'm not counting, just I know it's up there in that range. Decent number. Yeah, that's a nice solid gill. The orange breast means it's a male, right? I think. Yeah, beauty. Another 8 1/2 or so. Not so sure about having enough bait at this point. Depends how steady this stays for the next few hours. I think I only have like a 10 1/2 left or something like that. It's like 30, 40 worms. I'm splitting them, but still, these numbers, you never know, could run out. That's another gill. Just go underneath that other line, don't cross it. There we go. Yeah, a solid gill. Cool colors on this one. This one is one of those pink and green ones with the turquoise on the face. Pretty. I love all the different colors you get on bluegill. Still getting double headers. Crazy, man. So hot. How is it this hot still? How many fish have I caught out here? Like 30? Just standing in this one spot? And they're still just so packed in there. It's just a pre-spawn spot too. How can they be so packed? It's almost as if it's like a spawn spot. It's too deep, I think. Pretty sure I'm gonna go take a break actually. Just for a little bit. Then come back down, keep catching some more for fun. Oh, go right, buddy. Go right. Go right. Go right. You're never gonna go right. Holy cow. There we go. There's a nice gill. That's a solid one. Just about 9 inches, I bet. Probably real close if he isn't. Figure I'd take my limit off ice, lay it out for you quick just to show you. A limit of 50, bluegill, pumpkinseed, and maybe a few hybrids in there, plus a little stock trout. Not the biggest ones of the day, just the first 50 that looked filletable that I threw in the bucket. I'd probably see an yard more total than this amount here, just for fun. But still, these guys are decent. A few 7.5s, most of them are 8.5 inches. Good number of 9s and 9.25, and maybe a few 9.5s. Something like that. They're all in the 7.5 to 9.5 range, no big ones. If I did catch any big ones, I would have seen an Artem for sure, because they're very rare to get them 10 plus around here. You know, I get a 10 for every, I don't know, few hundred 9s maybe. Maybe. It's really rare, so I treat them as a trophy resource, but still got a bunch of decent eaters here. Gonna take them home, fillet them, and then share the fillets with my friends. Right after I put them on ice. In a moment here. Packed the fish up, put them on ice, left, went home, ate some food, and came back. I'm just going to be fishing for fun the rest of the day, or the evening. There's not much left of it. See if I can catch some more bluegill and pumpkinseed. Oh yeah, there's a nice one. That's a beauty. Solid 9. Pink. Pink with a green back. Blue face. Beauty. I'm gonna try and catch some of these edge fish again. There you go, little edge pumpkinseed. Oh no, it's a bluegill. Huh. Yeah, little 7-inch bluegill. I see some pumpkin seeds right in front of me. Just playing with it. With this 3-way slip sinker rig. It's starting to rain. Shoot. I said thunderstorms at 7, but it's way before 7. I'm just gonna hit the same spots again, I guess. Work my way around the lake again. Pick up the fish I couldn't catch before. Probably some new ones moved in by now even. It's been half a day since I started. Almost half a day. Started in the morning, now it's the afternoon. Nice, I don't know, 8-inch gill. Might be. Yeah, it's a little largemouth. Huh. More largemouth today than I'd expect. I'm just using like shreds of worm, you know? Like a 1/6 of a nightcrawler or something like that. I didn't really expect to get bass on a piece of worm that size. Another one like 13 inches, chubby. I'm focusing just a little bit deeper than when I first came down here, especially since I found all those deeper pre-spawn ones in the middle of the day. So, trying to see if this part, the deeper area in this stretch, has some pre-spawn ones, and so far I'm getting a few. Not too surprising. They're fish I didn't get earlier. Another decent gill. 8.5 maybe. Thick one. I didn't really hit this edge all the way yet. I gotta walk it down kind of saved that for last. At least that's what I was thinking earlier. So I'll hit it right now. Just for a couple minutes. Another 6-7 incher. Another little edge fish. Oops. There we go. Yeah, it's probably a honest 6 incher. Still just getting these edge sunfish by drifting a bit of crawler past their face on a free line. I'm just gonna keep fishing, storms or no storms. Keep hitting these spots. You know, this one and then maybe a new one and then the other one I was at earlier. It's a decent edge fish, solid 8 incher. Oh, there it goes. There he is. He's following it. Oh, got him. Just drifting that worm over the edge beds. It's a little bit of nightcrawler. This guy was a little bit shy. He followed it all the way up and made a bad choice right at the end. Another 7.5, 7 3/4. There's one. Little guy. That was a real edge fish, man. He came out of a few inches of water. Another bluegill. Yeah, 6-7 incher. Plan is just to fish out this edge quick and then move on to greener pastures again. There's a nice edge pumpkin seed. That's cool. It's a solid fish. Decent pumpkin seed, over 8 inches. I love how tall in the back they are. Once they get a little bit longer, you know, average size and big ones get a real tall back. And the edge ones are so easy. I'm just using this terrible little deflated shred of worm. You can see it right on the edge of his mouth there. I've used it for the last like 5 fish in a row at least, maybe more. Another gill. Awesome. Oh, finally used up that worm. I probably caught 6 or 7 fish alone on that little shred. And I can't believe I've been alone here all day on a Friday. That's the real crazy thing about today. Not the fish. Oh yeah, there's a solid one. I swear the deeper stretches, like not necessarily deeper, but the farther out shallow sections usually have a better class of fish than the edges. Just a better average. That one's about 9 inches. Just walking down the shore a little bit more each time. Fan casting new areas along the shore, hitting new beds and catching new fish. A few more each couple steps. Not a whole lot more action on these 3-way slip sinker rigs. It's not really hot. I think that means I did a number on them earlier when I hit this spot. So there'll be more fish here, but it'll take at least a few days for another pod of them to push in for the second spawn run. And there'll be at least a few like that. That'll happen, like I said. It's another real nice chunky bluegill with eggs. You know, 8 3/4 maybe, but super fat. I just let this sit here for a minute while I tied a rig and I got an edge fish. That's funny. Yeah, another 6-7 incher, little bluegill. It's a smaller guy. It's actually still pretty okay action over here. Must be new fish pushing in already, maybe? Maybe that, or I spooked some earlier just by catching other ones, their friends, right next to them. The edge ones will do that, they'll spook. So I can't see why the ones out deeper wouldn't. Yeah, another 8 1/4, 8 1/2. Decent gill. Man, I remember when I used to have days like this all the time. Like 5 years ago or so, maybe. It's back before I made videos. I already said that, but still reminiscing. It used to be just like this, same numbers, maybe even more, and bigger size. The average fish would be like the bigger ones I was getting today. 9 1/4, a lot of 9 1/2s. All of them would be that size. Like the size of this one right here. This used to be the old average. You get hundreds this size, I swear. Per trip, and I used to go on a lot of trips. You know, just tall, fat, 9¼ 9½ gills. That one's probably a solid 9½. Might be because it's getting a little dim out from the storm and it's getting towards evening. Maybe they think it's like getting close to twilight or something. There's a bite starting to pick up. That's definitely what happens in the fall. And I remember during the old spawns, it used to happen in the spring too. Just haven't seen it this week. It's been hot no matter what, but it used to get hotter right around sunset for sure. You know, and that's when I get most of my big ones too. True big ones, double-digit ones, you know. Not these 9-inchers. It's another solid 9. Last one was like 9 1/3. Measure them quick before I released them. Yeah, this is picking up, if anything. This ain't too bad. Almost as good as that other spot. Pretty close. I'm questioning whether to move or not at this point. This is not a terrible bite. These gills are nice. Good sized. They're all decent ones at least. This one's at least an 8. Fat. Thick. Decent gill. Oh, stay out of that junk, man. They love the junk. Yeah, he's okay sized. Another, maybe a smidge over 8. I don't know. Something like that. This is even better than this morning when I was here. Starting to get to the point where I can't really keep up with the poles. This is more like how I'd expect this spot to be. Hey, I finally got a little guy out of the middle. That's cool. Huh. You know, it's surprising to see this little guy. That's how good the class of fish out of the middle has been all day. That's how it usually is. This spot's pretty good now. It's more like what I would expect to see here on a good day. You know, hard to keep up with 2 rods. I might just stick around in this spot and not move again. This moving will cost me time. Just want to rack up a number, just for fun. Another 7, right around there. There we go. Set up a float rig again. No, stay out of the slip sinker lines, please. Shoot. Don't cross that. Oh, it's just a fish, I think. No, he crossed it. Yes, got him untangled. Maybe. No, maybe not. Oh, whatever. He's not really tangled. Still, nice fish. This guy was right in close. You know, 8½, 8 3/4. Decent bluegill. This guy was way out there, deep in the transition, right in the deep stuff. If you've watched this video up to this point, please tell me in the comments. I really want to know that. This is definitely going to be a long video. I mean, made enough to know when the video is going to be over an hour, and this is going to be one of them. Oh yeah, another nice solid gill. Fat, eggy. I don't know, pushing 9, 8 3/4 or 9. Decent gill for sure. I will not give up. I don't care if it's raining. Fish to be caught still. Still gotta stack up a number. Definitely riding this through. No, not that way, not that way. There we go. Pumpkinseed. Awesome. Or hybrid, I don't know. Looks sort of like both. Still hard to keep up with 2 rods. You can start to see why the limit's 50. There must be, I mean, at the very least, many thousands in here. Must be. And this is just a small lake. Another nice, maybe 8½, 8 3/4. Starting to get dim out. It might even be a 9. Looks kind of lanky. Little guy. It's an edge fish. Can only get this float rig out so far. Need to put new line on this rod. Didn't bother because I figured I'd just use it for edges today. I know back in the day, around twilight, like, right when you started to not be able to see color even, I'd get my biggest sunfish of the year. I got probably a majority of my biggest sunfish in my life that way. Just by doing the same thing, but it's just a timing thing. The big ones seem to hit better around twilight, for me at least. Most of the time. It's another, I don't know, 8.5, roughly. Kind of amazing how many new fish are schooled in right here. After I thinned this spot out so hard this morning. It's really just a timing thing. Got a spunky one, taking drag. Flipper. Not big, but got some attitude. Yeah. Another one, I don't know, 8.25 maybe, around there. Another one on the float. Pretty sure this has been 100-something fish day. Can't wait to go count them up. Edit this terribly long video. Yeah, just a little guy. Another 5-incher, 6-incher, or whatever. Not sure which I'm going to run out of first. My nightcrawlers or time. Both are run kind of thin. Another little guy. Or 5-6-incher or whatever. We're earning it at this point. Every extra sunfish is sunfish earned. Whatever that means. Oh yeah, that's a solid one. Oh yeah. Another bullgill. And I love the ones where you can almost fit 2 fingers in their mouth. That's a solid 9. 9.25. Tall back. Beauty. 2 things are guaranteed tonight, man. We're gonna get soaked, and we're gonna catch a lot of sunfish. I'm not gonna have it any other way. Right for the junk. Trying to escape. No depth perception. I got bad eyes. Another 8-incher. Getting a little brighter out. Clouds are starting to break up. Rain isn't though. Right in the chops. Nice. Another 8-incher. Keep getting them at that same spot there, like 8 feet in front of the little stick that he's about to almost go into. There we go. Another gill. Maybe 7 inches. Amazing how timing works on bluegills even. Something such an aggressive little panfish, still influenced by timing, just like walleye. You know, they always have been when I fished for them in the past. It just kind of amazes me every time. So I wasn't doing so hot in this spot earlier. I only got like 20, 30 fish out of it, whatever. But maybe 30 when I first got here. Not very many, and you know, I'm getting more right now even later on after I thinned them out. And to get this guy off the float rig. No, not that way, not that way. That's the wrong way. They're so stubborn. Once they start going a direction, a lot of times they just don't stop. That's a nice dark gill. Nice spawning gill. Male, I think. Beautiful. Real dark belly, almost like brown instead of orange. Really love having a variety of methods for these guys. Work the close water with the float rig or the free line. The really close water with the free line. The pretty close water with the floats. And the really far out, 60, 70 yard zone with in the 50 yard zone with the 3-way slip sinker rigs. Works out great. Oh yeah, nice fat silver gill. Fat mama with eggs. Beauty. Look at that. These kinds are real pretty. I love the ones with the silver and like the purple brown bars. They're my favorite color gill. Another one on the float. Right out of that same spot. Man, those geese are annoying. They'll just fly in and they'll sit there for like 20 minutes and just honk at you like a car alarm. Just take out like all the peacefulness. You know, surprisingly, this is starting to look like what I remember it being 5 years ago. I remember it being pretty close numbers to this, maybe more. I swear it used to be like around 150. So I'd burn through 6 tins of night crawlers, 150 crawlers, easily, you know. And today I just brought 100 and burned through them. So many dinks packed in right there, right in that pocket. You know, the one thing, even though the numbers are similar, maybe a little bit more back in the day, one thing I remember is more 9-inchers. I remember it was a solid 9 1/4 average, like a hard average. Very few 8-inchers, you know. And today I'm getting a lot of 8s, but I still can't complain because I'm getting a lot of 9+ too. Just not quite as many as I used to, from what I remember. It doesn't feel quite as dinky. Still out of that same little pocket though. He's not huge, but he's decent. He's got a fat belly, that's why he feels heavier. You know, 7.5 maybe. Messing around so much with these float fish, I can't even get my bottom rigs back in the water. That's how hot this is. It's like every second, not every second, the second it touches the water. The last time the float didn't even stand up. It just tipped over right when it touched. Got one from way out there running with the bottom rig. Half piece of crawler, really just a worm, little worm in the crawler pack. Baby crawler, whatever you want to call it. Another gill. Like a 7.5 actually. Yeah. Glad I could share this experience with you guys. This has been something I wanted to get on film ever since I started making fishing videos. This used to be an average day back in the day for me, except maybe the fish were a little bigger on average. But same sort of numbers. This would be just your typical day down here. And right when I started making videos, this place started to suck. I thought I'd never get it on film. So, glad I could get on film for you guys. Hope it was enjoyable. As much as 100-something fish in a row can be enjoyable. Hope you got something out of it. And this has gotten so hectic. The line's gotten so twisted and wiry and dirty and wet and I don't know. And the rigs too, and tangly, that it's been costing me bites for a while. I'm missing every other bite now. And the line looping around things and just, I don't know, just bad things happening. It's that perfect awkward darkness where I don't know whether to turn the light on or not. So the camera sees differently than my eyes do. It sees everything dimmer. I think it's about time though. Starting to almost not see color. It's usually the cue. Trying to keep everything well lit for you guys. Oh man. Just ran out of night crawlers too. I have like 1/4 of one left. I saved some garbage pieces from earlier though, so I won't completely run out, but I ran out of fresh ones. Yeah, another 8.5 maybe.